Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to you on this morning. It is Wednesday, June the 5th, 2024. And I want to welcome you. It is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But whether you're catching us live at 7 a.m. or you're watching this sometime later in the day, later in the week, later in the month, or even later in the year, we want to greet you this morning and say good morning to you and welcome to Purpose Journey Counseling LLC locked in. We are still locked in for the year 2024. My name is Dr. Natatu North, and I am the owner and one of the therapists of Purpose Journey Counseling LLC, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. So, again, as I stated, it is 7 a.m. and we are live. We're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and the YouTube link for this broadcast is posted on Instagram. So we ask that you take just a few moments to please like the broadcast, please like our pages, please follow us on your preferred social media platform. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Even if you don't typically watch us on YouTube, it's okay. But if you could please subscribe to our YouTube channel, we would greatly appreciate that. Please share this broadcast and let's also interact and engage in the comment section. If this is your first time tuning in, don't keep scrolling. Don't keep scrolling. Maybe you kind of stumbled upon this. This is meant to be encouraging, empowering. It's not a very long message, but something that's definitely meant to uplift and inspire. So just stay tuned. Just stay tuned. We won't be on here very, very long. So before we go any further, because we are a private practice and we do definitely deal with mental health, we like to make sure we share this number every time we come together. It's for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. This number is 988. The number is 24/7. You can call or text the number. But we like to give this out just because sometimes we might be in a mental health crisis. Sometimes it's hard to know what to do. Sometimes someone else is having a mental health crisis and we're not exactly sure what to do. Should we take them to the emergency room? What do we do? Do we need to call 911? Like, what exactly needs to be done? This number is a very useful number and can be used in these type of mental health crises to get guidance, to get support and feedback to be able to handle those situations. So please make sure you have the number stored in your phone. Again, it could be for you, could be for someone else. 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. So thank you so much for taking just a moment to do that. So again, like we said, it's Wednesday. And on Wednesday, we have our Wellness Wednesdays. Wellness Wednesday. What is Wellness Wednesday? If it's your first time joining. Like I said, these messages are inspirational. We have a month for 2024. We've been locked in on specific themes every month. And on Wednesdays, we come together with just an encouraging word surrounding that theme, a specific topic for that particular day. It's something we discuss just meant, again, to uplift us, to get us going, to help us push. A lot of times, we're starting off the week strong, or, at least we're trying to, but by Wednesday, sometimes we're tapped out already after a few days, those of us who work like our regular work week. So we definitely want to have like that midweek like boost, essentially, is what Wellness Wednesday is. So that's what we're here for this morning. So our theme for June is image. This past Sunday on the 2nd, we did have our monthly podcast, hashtag from a Christian, hashtag from a therapist, with Dr. Natatu. We were talking about body shaming. So go back and check it out. You can check it out on any of our social media platforms. It's still on there. And I actually did a replay on Monday evening as well. So you can find it on our platforms on Facebook, and YouTube would be the easiest way to find it for the replay, to watch it again, or the replay that I played on Monday evening. So please go back and check it out. We're talking about image, and body shaming was part of that. So for Wellness Wednesday, we're going to talk about what's the image you want to have. What's the image you want to have? The reason why we ask this question is because, let's face it, people see us in certain ways. We see ourselves in certain ways. So when we're asking this question this morning, it's not even just from the perspective of how do you want to see. So it's twofold. How do you want to see yourself, but how do you want others to see you as well? And so it's not encouraging or specifically pointing out and say, okay, we need to be overly concerned or overly cognizant of how we're seen by others. But let's face it, it is important. It is important. And thinking about what's the image we want to have, what image do we want to portray? How do we want to be seen? What are we trying to have people, when they think of you, what do you want them to see you as? Or how do you see yourself? Because that would be the fundamental question. How do you even view yourself? Like if you had to describe yourself in a certain amount of words, let's just say just 3 words. If you could describe yourself in 3 words that would speak to your image, who you are as a person, what would those 3 words be? And then if you could describe yourself in those 3 words and being honest about those 3 words, are those 3 words that you would want to be seen by other people? Or are they 3 words that maybe you don't necessarily like some of them, or maybe you don't like any of the words that just came to mind? That's the critical thing, because when we're honest with ourselves, sometimes we're not quite fond of some of our characteristics, some of our personal traits we're not necessarily pleased with. And we know that that might be the way that we're portrayed. That might be what other people are seeing, but we don't necessarily like it. And let's be honest, sometimes we portray images that aren't accurate. A lot of times that comes from the fact that we don't necessarily, again, appreciate or like, we're not fond of. Sometimes we don't like who we are. Sometimes we don't like who we really are at our cores. We don't really like certain characteristics about ourselves. We don't like the way we're necessarily portrayed or the way we are seen by other people. So sometimes we portray images that aren't even us for the approval of other people, or so we could get kind of just that feeling of, okay, this is a better image. Now, understanding and knowing first and foremost that we were all created in God's image. So that means we were always created on purpose with purpose, on purpose with purpose, on purpose with purpose. I say it all the time. We all created on purpose with purpose. God does not make mistakes. So when he created us, he had purpose on his mind before you were in your mother's womb. He knew you. He knew you before he formed you. He knew you. But sometimes we struggle with this image word. What is our image? What image do we even want to have? An authentic image, though, not just something that we're just portraying or we're just putting on, or we want people to see us this way, but that's not even really who we are. And sometimes it's like we are seen as people that we're not. You ever got feedback sometimes and it's like people think that you're this way, and this is the image that other people see when they see you, and you're like, wow, that's not me at all. And it kind of makes you question, like, well, where do they get that from? Why do they see me that way? That's not who I am. And of course, there's definitely different factors, and we won't go into all that this morning for time purposes, but there's various factors as to why people sometimes see us for who we're not. Sometimes people take one thing, one little minute thing, and decide to characterize your entire being based off of a look you gave, an action that an act that you did, or just, one little tiny thing. People can, or they think that they can sum you up, who you are, your image. They sum you up based off of those things. And of course, that's not fair. Of course, people would have to know things about you for them to know who you are and what image, that what's your image, like who are you really at your core. But that's hard to do. That's extremely hard to do. And when I think of image, I think of like celebrities and people whose name is, whose names are in the limelight, and whether they're athletes or actors and actresses or whomever. And a lot of times they're misjudged based off of acts. One of the things that I think about, I'm like, would I ever want to be a celebrity? And my answer is no, because we tend to be in their business. We tend to want to know what's going on, reading up on who they're with, who are their kids, what do they do? Oh, they made a mistake. Oh my goodness, here goes the image again. Okay, now they're back in good graces. Okay, now there's something else. And it goes flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, flop. But the bottom line is we don't know any of those people. I mean, unless you know them. But more times than not, we don't even know them. But the image that they have is based off of certain actions. And it's interesting because the media tells you what they want you to know. It's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day because how you would go into the store and I would like Walmart and Kroger and I would see like tabloids, like magazines that basically untruths about celebrities, and you knew that people would read it for fun, and sometimes I guess some people did believe it, but a lot of times you knew it wasn't accurate on their image, but you would read it for entertainment. And now I've noticed that when I'm scrolling on Facebook, I have different things that pop up that are essentially the same thing. It's like tabloids. You could tell that it's probably not accurate information, not accurate news, but it's being reported, or they want you to read it even if it's for entertainment. And that's why I think about being a celebrity. I'm like, wow, I would never want that. I would never want that. Yes, our lives, tend to speak for themselves. And, I would say, the type of image I want to have is, obviously something positive to say, she was someone who loved God's people, served God's people, and committed her life to doing so. That's pretty much sums up the image. But sometimes it's tainted. The more people that know your name, it can be tainted. And I mean, we can say, well, we're not supposed to care about people say to a certain extent. We're not supposed to be concerned, completely overtly concerned with, or overly, I should say, concerned with the opinions of other people. But image is important, though. It is important. It definitely is. No matter who you are. I think even of children in school, what image do we want our children to have in school? Sometimes our children get labeled. They get in trouble. They get labeled as, oh, that's the kid who keeps getting suspended, or that's the kid who doesn't do this, or that's the kid who doesn't get good grades, or that's the kid that gets great grades. That's the kid who's a leader. That's the kid who makes great decisions. Image is important. Image is important for the right reasons, though. For the right reasons. And we're going to be talking about image all the month of June. But that's the question I want you all to ponder on just this morning or today or whenever you're catching this, is what's the image you want to have authentically? Like, who are you? Who do you want people to see when they see you? When people think of you, what would you like them to think of? Are you in control of what they see and what they think of? Absolutely not. Should that be what rules your life? Absolutely not. But image is still important. If you go in for an interview, what image would you want to have for that interview? You would want them to think, oh, yes, this person is going to be great for this job based off the image that you portray. So let's be thinking about this month. Like I said, go back and watch the podcast if you missed it. If you did catch it, body shaming. One of the first questions was, who taught you about physical appearance? Who taught you what you were supposed to look like? That's part of image too. Who taught you that? So we were talking about physical appearance, but this image is bigger than just physical appearance. What's the image you want to have for yourself? Who are you? And is that the image that you want to be seen? Is that who you want to live your life as? Start to ask yourself those types of questions as we begin the month of June and as we walk through the June theme of image. What's the image you want to have? So we're going to stop there because we're going to talk more for the rest of the month. That is our Wellness Wednesday for this morning. But just as a reminder, we do have our Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have our monthly podcast, hashtag from a Christian, hashtag from a therapist with Dr. Natatu, on the first Sundays of the month, live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we shared this on Sunday. We'll share it again. Lord willing, we'll have our next podcast. So go ahead and mark your calendars for our next episode. Will be episode 22 will be on Sunday, July the 7th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that'll be a new month, new theme, but go ahead and mark your calendars now. So, we will be coming together for our podcast again the first Sunday in July, which is July the 7th. So that'll be our next podcast, but this is the question we're pondering on. today for the next week as we're working through image this month. And then we're going to talk more. Definitely going to talk more next Wednesday, Lord willing, when we are together again. So our tag for Purpose Journey Counseling, every time we are together, a lot of things we do every time we're together. But I want to encourage you to be loving, be kind, be compassionate, and be intentional towards others as well as towards yourselves. Lord willing, we will see you next Wednesday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our next Wellness Wednesday. We are praying for you today. We pray that you are encouraged and inspired, and that you have a fantastic day, no matter where you are, what you're doing today, whether you're working, whether you're off, whatever it is that you're doing, kids going to camps, or whatever it is that's going on. We're just praying for you today. We pray that you have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, and blessings and love to each and every one